Hello and welcome to this kind of instructional video, I guess, on using the racing line within Formula 1 2016. I'm the real Tom. Thanks very much for watching this video, or at least choosing to start watching it. So what the premise is, I've loaded a standard middle of the road setup, the one they give you out the box, as it were. And what I'm going to do is 3 laps, as hot laps as I can get them for me. The first, this one, and I already screwed up the first corner as you saw. This one is without a racing line at all. The next one is using a racing line with just the corners on, and then finally the last one is racing line on full. And I've decided to have it in 3D so you can see sort of the braking power that you have to put in. You'll notice that because of doing the practice for the multiplayer championship, the best lap I have done is a 1:37.2, which was pretty good going. But that's not part of what's going on here. So everything is kind of excluding that best time. So using no racing line relies on you knowing the track to start with. At least with the racing line on, you do get the ability to kind of follow that and not necessarily know where things are happening. But because I've raced Silverstone in the past, and because of doing the practice beforehand with a racing line for the track, I've got a fair idea of how it's going to play and where I'm meant to be on the track. So most of I didn't even realise that. In this case, all of my laps that I do as a timed thing have the black and white invalidated score time set to them, because obviously I go off track and in time trial it's fairly unforgiving for you. So you'll notice then this one and all the others are actually reasonably tidy laps, but I go off the track and they're not officially counted. So this is the without the racing line. I do some pretty good corners in it, I also do some really bad corners in it, and I get a 140 for that. So now on to corner only for the racing line. Coming up again to the start-finish straight to start the next flying lap. And with the corners only on, you'd think that would be enough, but actually it's amazing how some points of the track aren't where, like, obviously I've gone exceptionally wide there, going far too fast into it, but there are parts of the track where you'd think the racing line is in one place and actually it's in another, and that can affect your speed if you're not taking the apexes or coming into a corner right or having to move across. So for here I need to be further to the right officially for the racing line. It is that side of the track, but I need to be further over so that when you dive into this corner, there you go, another invalidated lap for leaving the track. Like I say, it's not like I've cut a major corner, and I'm not sure that would make up that much more time in terms of what it's going to be, but there you go. So yeah, again here I need to probably be further to the left to really dive into that and be able to get the power down early, halfway through the corner. This one I never get it exactly right to where I'm meant to be, because if you line this up correctly just like that, actually you get through that sort of the S's really fast, and you do carry a lot of speed. When you get it wrong, you're weaving all over the place, and it's terrible. Now again, I'm meant to be to the far right at the moment, I think, on the racing line, and you come back across to the left hand side, but taking the corner I take, not so great. Again, I wobble here, and that's obviously going to cost me a bit of time. Coming around to the last corner, reasonable time. This is one I always get warnings on as well. So this one is a 1:38, I think that was, before it sort of disappeared off screen. Don't worry, put up the times in a second. And so this one now is the full racing line that you may want to use. I'm kind of starting from a point that you knew what the racing line was first, so there you go. This and next lap invalidated, and actually that's not made me faster, it's made me slower, because I've really gone too far one way, had to correct myself and slowed myself down. So theoretically this should now be my slowest lap. But yeah, what is a racing line? Well, the racing line in racing, unsurprisingly, is the best path to take around a track for the quickest time. Now, different drivers will take different racing lines and have their own way of doing it. I saw a video once of, like, you know, how Michael Schumacher used to take a certain corner compared to all the other races, and he was much faster. And it is that kind of, there's what you'd call the traditional racing line, which I guess is what this is, and then there'll be a driver's preference to how they can get around the track quickest. So it's not necessarily the only way of doing it, but for someone like myself, and if you're just starting playing racing games and they're just getting into Formula One, then actually this is the best path to follow to get you around the track the quickest way that you can. Some of these corners, again, the racing line is overly cautious for you, so it will slow you down, because there are some corners you can take faster than you realise, and the racing line is kind of, like I say, overly cautious for where you have to brake and where you can accelerate again, and how much. So there, I'm still on the full throttle, even though it's telling me I should be sort of lifting and coasting. So actually, because I've done this track a few times, I know that I can go faster through bits than the racing line is maybe telling me. So it's a question of practice, and then you get to learn yourself where you can push and where you can't. So you can see here my times: a 140 with no racing line at all, a 139.44 with corners, and a 137.3 with a full racing line and that terrible start. So I'm loading up a Rivals setup now, someone that was using the same car as I was, and I'm going to do a few more laps. Well, this is my quickest lap. However, because of getting the penalty on a previous lap, it's one of those horrible ones where it carries through. So actually, it's my quickest lap. It's faster than my 137, although it won't get recorded as my fastest lap because I had a flag on the plate. And this is one of those bits that really annoys me. I don't mind getting a flag for corner cutting and doing it on the lap I'm taking. It's when it does it and invalidates the next lap as well. If anyone at Codemasters, or pretty much any racing game, if anyone is listening to this video, please don't make this lap and the next lap invalidated. I kind of get it for where maybe you can set yourself up on a final corner to make it much quicker, but actually for the rest of us it just infuriates us that, like this lap I'm doing quite well, I haven't, you know, corner cut at all. It was just a mistake I'd made at the end of the last lap, and now I'm not going to get a decent time for it. But this is my fastest lap of Silverstone that I have completed. I will try again to get it on a non-invalidated time, but I'm 1.4 seconds up my 1:37 time, so I'm really going well using the full racing line, and again a bit of practice. I'm 6 laps in. Obviously I've done a few bad laps to be invalidated on them, but I do quite a lot of work to get better. Still not anywhere near sort of the other guys in my friends list. I think their best was 143, but 133, but I just got a 136 for that lap. So I was really chuffed to get, like I say, a second and a bit quicker invalidated lap. So I go off, and that is the lot for the evening. I was a bit frustrated by then, and I think we then went and did the multiplayer for Britain anyway, which again I'll link to the video for that here. So 136.0 was a full racing line, but as it says, with a penalty from the previous lap, which is frustrating as hell. So Codemasters, please, and one more please for good luck and good measure, please don't invalidate my laps for a previous incident. It just makes me cry. Thanks very much for watching this video. I'm The Real TomTom, and if you like, subscribe. If you don't subscribe. It's kind of the way it works here on YouTube. Feel free to troll me in the comments, do whatever you like, leave a message, say hello, and just keep watching for anything that you find interesting. I do appreciate any comments that people put of how I can improve, anything I need to try and remember. Obviously in the multiplayer championship, people have told me what I should do better, and when I'm in the heat of battle, I pretty much forget. But, you know, tell me enough, maybe I'll learn in the end. Thanks very much for watching, until the next video.